Ever wondered how to write a functional specification document? Well, let's get started by understanding what it is and why it's so critical for any project. A functional specification document, or FSD, is a detailed guide that outlines the expectations and functionalities of a particular product or software. Think of it as a blueprint for your project, helping everyone involved understand the end goal and the steps needed to get there. Now, you might ask why it's necessary. You see, an FSD brings clarity. It aligns your team and stakeholders with the project's goals and requirements. It ensures that everyone is on the same page, reducing the risk of misunderstandings and costly errors down the line. In essence, a well-written FSD is like a compass guiding your project in the right direction. Now that you know the importance of a functional specification document, let's dive into how to create one. Before you start writing, there are a few things you need to have in place. Consider this: you're about to embark on an adventure. But before you set off, you need a map. That map, in our context, is a clear understanding of the project's objectives. You need to know your destination before you can plot a course. What are you trying to achieve with this project? What's the end game? When you can answer these questions, you're halfway there. Next, think about who's going to be traveling with you. These are your users. What do they need? What are their expectations? Understanding user requirements is like knowing the preferences of your travel companions. It helps ensure that the journey is comfortable for everyone and that the destination is worth the trip. So, get to know your users. Dive deep into their needs, their desires, their pain points. This will give you invaluable insights into how to make their experience better. Now let's talk about the vehicle that will carry you to your destination, the system. System requirements are the nuts and bolts of your project. They're what make the wheels turn and the engine run. They encompass every aspect of the project's technical and functional demands. From software to hardware, from interfaces to databases, each detail plays a crucial role in the overall performance of your system. You need to understand these requirements inside and out before you can write a functional specification document that's worth its salt. And finally, remember this: all these factors, the project objectives, the user requirements, the system requirements, they're not isolated islands. They're interconnected. They influence each other. They shape the content of your functional specification document. They're like the coordinates on your map, guiding you towards a successful project. With these prerequisites in place, you're ready to begin drafting your functional specification document. A well-structured functional specification document is easy to read and understand. It's like a well-built house, where each room has a specific purpose and everything is in its place. Let's begin with the introduction. This section is the doorway to your document. Here you set the stage by providing a high-level overview of the project. You'll want to briefly describe the product or system, its purpose, and the target audience. Think of the introduction as a concise summary that primes the reader for the details that are to follow. Next, we have the system overview. This is the living room of your document, where you'll present a broad picture of the system. It's not about the minute details, but rather the overall layout and architecture. What are the main components of the system? How do they interact? This section helps the reader visualize the system in its entirety. Now, let's move to the system requirements. This is the kitchen where you lay out all the ingredients needed to build your system. Here, you're detailing the technical requirements, hardware and software needs, and the environmental conditions under which the system must operate. It's a technical section that provides the builders, developers, with the specifics they need to construct the system. Last but not least, we've got the user requirements. Think of this as the bedroom, the most personal space in the house. Here, you're focusing on the needs and expectations of the end user. What must the system do to satisfy the user? What functionality is expected? This section is all about ensuring that the system serves its intended users effectively. Each of these sections plays a crucial role in the functional specification document. They work together to provide a complete, detailed view of what the system is, how it should be built, and who it's for. Just like a well-designed house, a well-structured document makes it easy for everyone, from project managers to developers, to understand and work towards a common goal. Understanding the structure of a functional specification document is a crucial first step in creating an effective document. And just like building a house, laying a solid foundation is key to success. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of writing the functional specification document. Firstly, let's talk about the purpose statement. This is where you succinctly define the goal of the project. Why does it exist? What problem does it solve? What are the desired outcomes? Be sure to avoid technical jargon. The aim here is to make sure anyone who picks up this document can understand its purpose. Next, let's move to the scope. Here you'll outline what the project will and will not cover. This section is crucial because it sets both boundaries and expectations. It's like drawing a line in the sand that says, this is what we're doing and this is what we're not. Remember, be as clear and concise as possible. Now, on to the business requirements. This section is a bit more detailed. Here, you'll describe the project's business needs and impacts. Consider questions like, what business processes will this project affect? Or, how will it impact the organization's bottom line? Again, clarity is key. Use specific, concrete examples to illustrate your points. The fourth step is to detail the system requirements. These are the technical aspects of the project. What software or hardware will be needed? What are the technical constraints? This section is more technical, but it's still important to be clear and concise. Use layman's terms wherever possible and provide examples to help non-technical stakeholders understand. Next, we have the user requirements. In this section, you'll describe the user's needs and how the project will meet them. Think about the user's perspective. What functionality will they need? How should the system behave? Use scenarios or user stories to illustrate your points. This helps stakeholders visualize the end product. The sixth step is the data requirements section. Here, you'll outline what data the system will use, how it will be stored, and how it will be accessed. This is a technical section, but again, clarity is paramount. Use diagrams or flowcharts if they help convey your message. Next up is the functional requirements. This is where you'll detail these specific functionalities of the system. What must the system do to fulfill the user and business requirements? Be as detailed as possible and use examples to illustrate your points. Finally, we come to the assumptions and constraints section. Here, you'll detail any assumptions you've made during the planning process, as well as any constraints that could affect the project's success. This helps stakeholders understand the context in which the project is being developed. Remember, the goal is to create a document that clearly communicates the project's requirements to all stakeholders. Once you've written your functional specification document, you're not quite done yet. There's still a crucial step to be taken: reviewing and finalizing the document. This stage is as vital as writing the document itself. Why, you might ask? Well, it's simple. Even the most meticulously crafted document can harbor errors or ambiguities that could lead to misunderstandings down the line. Think of it this way. Your functional specification document is like a roadmap for your project. If there are unclear directions or missing landmarks, your team might end up going off course. Hence, it's essential to take the time to review your document for clarity and completeness. Check for any areas that could potentially be misinterpreted or are lacking in detail. Don't hesitate to make revisions where necessary. It's also a good practice to have a fresh pair of eyes review the document. This can help catch any oversights that you might have missed. Remember, the aim is to ensure that every single detail within your functional specification document is crystal clear and leaves no room for interpretation But wait, there's more. It's not just about reviewing the document. It's also about getting approval from all relevant stakeholders. This is the final gate before your document can be considered complete. Make sure that everyone involved in the project, from the project manager to the client, agrees with the information contained in your functional specification document. This is to ensure that everyone is on the same page and understands the project's requirements and objectives. Finalizing your functional specification document might seem like a tedious task, but it's an investment that will pay off in the long run. It's all about setting the stage for a smooth and successful project execution. With a well-written and approved functional specification document, your project is set for success. So take the time, do the review, get the approvals, and set your project on the path to triumph.